A picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly Burbs. Here every week, I share editorial cartoons drawn exclusively for my daily newsletter. It's one of my favorite parts of the program. To make a point through a political cartoon is such a talent, to have insight and then be able to draw it. Well, for yesterday's newsletter, take a close look at what Scott Stantis drew. Stantis is an award-winning illustrator for the Chicago Tribune. From Uncle Sam's mouth, we see an assault rifle just having been fired. Note that it's smoldering at one end. The gun represents the violent political verbiage that passes for discourse these days. But take a closer look, because to me, at the other end of that gun, it looks like a microphone. It's brilliant. It's sad. It's true. It's the speech that is often pulling the trigger these days. We're a sick nation. We're afraid. We're fragmented. We're isolated. We're lonely. Connectivity, what they call connectivity, has actually disconnected us, and our kids are bearing the brunt. We don't have a sense of common purpose because we no longer have shared experience. And this is not some epiphany on my part after the unspeakable assassination of Charlie Kirk. Just a confirmation of so many interviews I've conducted right here over the past decade. This time, many of our leaders, left and right, they said appropriate things. Mike Johnson, John Thune, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, all of them. Unfortunately, the Hill reports that some teachers, some firefighters, some public officials have been suspended or fired after celebrating Kirk's death online. The very idea that anybody would cheer an assassination, it underscores just how sick our discourse has become. And many of those whose livelihoods depend on creating conflict, they were quick to politicize with a ghoulish game of whataboutism. I'll not give them further notoriety by saying their names, but I want you to take a look at something and recognize this is an incomplete list. On one side, you've got the violence directed toward the Minnesota Democratic lawmaker and her husband murdered, Governor Josh Shapiro's home firebombed while his family slept, a conspiracy-fueled attack that left Paul Pelosi with a fractured skull, a shooter opening fire on the Centers for Disease Control, the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and, of course, the January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol. And now shift to the other side. Charlie Kirk assassinated. 2 separate attempts on Donald Trump's life. An armed man arrested outside Justice Kavanaugh's home. A gunman opening fire on Republican lawmakers at a baseball practice that nearly killed Steve Scalise. More than 20 pro-life organizations vandalized or firebombed after a leaked Roe v. Wade decision. And even 2 Republican candidates in Minnesota physically assaulted while campaigning. The point is that violence is coming from all angles, which is why I was disappointed when I heard the president say this.
How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. The radicals on the left are the problem, and they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy.
No, Mr. President, the radicals on all sides are the problem. And the truth is that no side has a monopoly on political violence nor on mental health. So now what? Writing at the Wall Street Journal this week, Peggy Noonan said the following: the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it feels different as an event, like a hinge point, like something that is going to reverberate in new dark ways. It isn't just another dreadful thing. It carries the ominous sense that we're at the beginning of something bad. I fear that she's correct. I'm sure she wants to be wrong. Yesterday, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, he framed it as follows.
The question is what kind of watershed? And that chapter remains to be written. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history?
Well, he's inspired today's poll question. I'll get to it in a moment. But know this, Governor Cox also offered a prescription, the same as you've heard from me so many times. He said that social media is a cancer. He encouraged us to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, and go do good in our communities. Or as I like to say, it's time to mingle. Go to Smerconish.com, answer today's poll question. Is this the end of a dark chapter in our history or the beginning of a darker chapter in our history?